Safe work habits are essential to all personnel, especially for those who work with the handling of molten metal. Handling and transporting molten metal can be very dangerous. Reverberatory furnaces hold large quantities of molten metal, from 2,000 to as much as 100,000 pounds. An explosion in one of these furnaces, caused by water or other liquid submerged in the metal bath, can cause a disaster. One of the worst die casting disasters of all time happened because safety procedures weren't followed. In this explosion, a 230-foot-long manufacturing facility was reduced to rubble in minutes. This accident was caused when a closed container of liquid found its way into a scrap casting hopper, which was then deposited into a reverberatory furnace for remelting. The container of water, submerged beneath nearly 50,000 pounds of molten aluminum, expanded 2,500 times. Changing to steam, the water vaporized the molten aluminum, resulting in a massive explosion. 1 pound of molten aluminum has the explosive capacity of 3 pounds of TNT if water becomes trapped beneath it. That's a worst-case scenario. This furnace explosion resulted in the death of 2 workers. 14 others were seriously injured. The explosion was heard 55 miles away. Here's what was left of the plant the next day. Proper storage and handling of raw materials such as scrap, ingots, sows, and fluxes is critical. Die casting metals must be moisture-free before being charged into a melting furnace. Safety rules for working with molten metal must be established and rigidly enforced. Never charge anything wet into molten metal. Materials to be melted should be preheated to evaporate any moisture on the surface or trapped inside the metal. No plastic bottles, water-based fluids, cans, or aerosol stored or used around molten metal or furnaces. Hydraulic and lubricating oils, dye lubricants, water, and other liquid materials should be contained to avoid mixing with molten metal. All tools used for working with molten metal should be properly treated to prolong the life of the tools, to prevent contamination of the molten metal, and preheated to at least 300 degrees Fahrenheit before usage to eliminate moisture from the tool. The coating should not contain calcium, which reacts with molten metal. Scrap materials, sows, and ingots should be preheated to a minimum of 800 degrees Fahrenheit prior to being introduced into molten metal baths. To prevent burns, assume that all metal and equipment around the furnace is hot. Safety glasses with side shields must be worn. Safety clothing must be made of natural fibers such as cotton or wool. Polyester or other synthetic-based clothes melt quickly and will stick to the skin. Aluminized coats, gloves, spats, and leggings, heat-resistant gloves, and fire-retardant jackets should be worn at all times, along with hard hats and face shields. Beware of heat exhaustion. Melting furnace areas can reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Know the symptoms of heat exhaustion and take proper precaution to avoid this condition. Don't risk having an accident and seek medical attention if you experience the symptoms of heat exhaustion. Toxic substances can exist in the die casting workplace. In metal melting and holding furnaces, zinc, lead, tin, and fluxing chemicals create toxic fumes. Training in toxic substance handling is mandatory. Employees should avoid breathing furnace fumes.